trained us enough that works really well with the next piece we're going to hear. Russell Ashworth is going to read a piece called Broken Chord, which just blew me away. He's got some books coming out. I think he's got one already out, one coming out this month.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
No,
That's really soon. Next week. He can tell you a little bit about that, but he's going to come and read this one piece. This will be the last of the editor's choices. Unless we have room at the end, and I'll read one from the person who couldn't be here. But we have a bunch of other readers. Amazing stuff that our editorial staff did. And so come on over, Russell. Share this.
big type.
Yeah.
Double spaced. This started life as a character study for the novel that I'm working on right now, which is the third of a trilogy. The first novel in the trilogy dealt with violence against women. The second novel in the trilogy dealt with trust issues, and this one is dealing with possessive love versus unconditional love. The title of this is Broken Chord. His thumb traces a treble clef on the pale blue veined skin of her right hand. Her long light fingers rest in his. I need to talk about it, he says. I need to know why. She lifts her head from the white pillow he fluffed for her minutes ago. For 10 pulses of her heart, he waits for her reply. Her milk chocolate eyes study the print hanging crooked on a hospital room wall. 2 horses, one standing in the shade of an oak, the other gambling in the sun. A tumultuous marriage summarized in commodity ink. He hopes she's gathering thoughts, tempering truth with love. He knows that this woman, whose music prisms her soul's colors into his, who lures him from his melancholy past to her crystal present, will not lie to him. Perhaps she's finding it hard to tell him why. Why she was with that prick Powell. Why they were in his Maserati at 2 in the morning going so fast. Her motivations are usually mysterious and rarely straightforward. I've been here an hour and you haven't looked at me, he says, adopting a passive approach. She stares at her left hand. Its fingers yellow with iodine, wrapped in white gauze, pinned with bright metal. Her eyes scan the splint, hiding her shattered wrist. She has no feeling in 2 of her fingers. The medics say it might return, given time. Does her mangled hand long for the opening thunder of the Tchaikovsky? Or for the third movement of the Appassionata, her signature encore? Will her hands ever again grant her audience the measures of her genius? A lock of unruly raven hair tumbles from her brow. She lifts her hand, its fingers curving as she flops the stray to a precarious perch on the crown of her head. The lock slips again. At home, she practices in a ponytail, while her coach, Natalia, exclaims and paces around the huge Berzendorfer Grand. On stage, she wears the tortoiseshell combs her great-grandmother wore when she sang Carmen at the Opéra Comique in Paris. L'amour à cheveux rebelles, he whispers. He's often tamed her rebellious hair during their 12 years of marriage. Their eyes at last meet as he extracts the combs and matching brush from his bag. He moves behind her, begins stroking, humming Carmen's habanero melody. Her neck muscles stiffen to resist the rhythmic pull of the bristles as they pacify hair black and lustrous as her piano. By the time he sets the second comb, he's decided. Why press for answers now? Best to talk about it later, after questions more important than his ego or even her remorse are resolved. Eyes closed, he bends and kisses her forehead. I've arranged for help at home while I'm writing, he says. At night, I'll care for you myself. Her finger brushes his. Their hands twine. His thumb traces a treble clef on her palm, and he thanks God for